tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Tinfoil Hat. Today's episode is brought to you by our good friends at Athletic Greens. I take Athletic Greens every day because I want better gut health, more energy, optimized immune system, okay? I hate taking a bunch of pills and vitamins. I want a supplement that actually tastes great and wanted to see what the hype was all about.
So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things.
And it's real simple, okay? It contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial anything while still tasting good. Tons of people take some kind of multivitamins, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. Okay, it costs less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit.
Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health.
To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/tinfoil. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/tinfoil to take ownership over your health and pick the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Enjoy the show. Good morning, Swarm, and welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know I am. You know what I'm here to do. I'm here to join me as always, Xavier Guerrero, and on the ones and twos, Jay Nice, Johnny Woodard. How are you guys? Yeah,
That's
dude.
how we feeling.
We went hard in the paint today. If you guys enjoyed the last show, which I know I did, so I hope
Me
you
too.
did too. This one's a follow-up to that, super banger, and Christopher Knowles comes on and drops a hammer of the gods on us and really blows our minds. Everybody was blown.
He knows his shit.
Oh, he does.
Everybody's mind was blown,
Put it that
okay?
way. He was not in the studio.
He
to be
was not in
clear.
studio, but Anthony D'Amato was. Good friend of mine, got great podcast.
He was
on
not
Rock-
related to the blowing, to be clear.
Yeah, nobody was blowing anybody, but minds were blown. Okay, Johnny, God,
It's
guys,
equivalent.
It's equivalent. Guys, listen, real quick, let's get into this. Go to samtripoli.com. Everything you need is on samtripoli.com. First of all, sign up for the email list. Please join us. You never know when they're going to get rid of me on Instagram. So you can find out about live shows I got coming up, and you can find out about podcasts I'm putting out. I bang out 7 a week, okay? I mean, I have 7 podcasts I do a week most of the time. And there's a lot of episodes coming out. You guys got to know about it. Stay with me and join us. We have a lot of great affiliate programs coming out, too. They're all going to be on samtripoli.com. Things that we on this show feel like you need to basically look inside and get away from the New World Order. All that stuff's going to be at samtripoli.com. Go down a little bit. We got Comedy Chaos coming up. And then we have, I'm at Skank Fest, obviously, next weekend. That's all sold out. But if you're in Vegas, come around, show up. I'll try to sneak you in. Maybe not. Then I got Comedy Chaos on the 19th. Then I'm in Kansas City in November. All right, what's next? Go back, go down. Premium content. Really, guys, go to Rockfin, pick Tinfoil Hat, Zero, Conspiracy Social Club. We got We Don't Smoke the Same, Broken Sim. Pick any of those. $10. You get all 400 of the creators' content for $10 a month. There's no other value on the internet like that. There's no other value. And if you're looking for investment, if you're looking for some investment advice, the Cash Daddies investment website is pure fire. Just go to patreon.com/cashdaddies and join in. And it's $20. Other people that do this, they charge up to $200 a month. We're doing $20, and you get daily stuff from Howie Dewey, who's been on fire. Nobody bats 1,000. Invest at your own will, make your own decisions, do your own research. But Howie Dewey's been fired for pretty much most of this Patreon. So go check that out. And t-shirts, go to tinfoilhattshirts.com, or you can go to, again, the Conspiracy Social Club. Go to tinfoilhattshirts.com. We got a new t-shirt about to drop. The lizard people are coming. Me as Paul Revere.
Oh, there it is right there.
Oh, is it up?
Yeah, it's there. It's right there. Top right, actually.
Top right.
Yeah, lizard.
Oh,
people
no,
are-
that's an old one.
That's an old one.
That's an old
That's
one.
Why is it at the top? I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh yeah, this
This one's the lizard people are coming.
Yeah,
I'll show it
and-
to you.
What is that? The Last Supper?
Yeah, that's the Last
Yeah.
Supper. Sam Tripoli's
Can you
just right
zoom
in
in
the
on that?
middle.
That looks really cool.
Jesus.
Yeah, it is really cool. I only put
I
out,
like that one. Check
I
that
only
out.
put out really cool.
Yeah, you dude. You as far as t-shirt quality, you got the highest quality t-shirt. Oh, that's real, dude.
at
The
that.
lizard people one is dope.
Yep.
Yeah, the new one.
Oh, that is a good one.
The
Who did-
lizard people are coming.
Who did that? Same guy that did
Zoltan
Yeah,
does
he's
pretty
so
much
good,
all
man.
Yeah, he is really good.
So
So
good.
that will be available tonight. My cameos. I do cheap cameos, $30, $50. Make you holler for 3 minutes of just pure conspiracy
To be clear,
madness.
Sam does most of the hollering. If we're
I do
on
all the
camera.
hollering. I do all the hollering.
How much is it without a T-shirt? Wow,
Oh, dude, that's so
Sam.
true.
Somebody got a free show
That's
there.
so true.
That's
Wow.
a bonus. That should be more.
That
Sam.
should be
You're
more.
giving it
Did you
away,
get that
brother.
for $50?
Yeah.
You're giving it away, man.
dude,
Giving
you guys-
it away. I'm totally
only
giving it
fans action
away.
right there.
You guys are right. I am giving it away. Go back. So cameos, great way to connect birthday stuff. Nuke Social is really great. Everything is decentralized. You sign up to Nuke Social. You can get on the Tinfoil Hat Telegram from there. You can get on the Zero Telegram from there. And listen, they can never take it away. It's decentralized. And I'm going to start getting on that more. And finally, check out all the free audio you can get at samtripoli.com. Tinfoil Hat, obviously. Broken Sim, Cash Daddies is a wonderful, wonderful way to financial advice and comedy. Punch Drunk Sports, You Know the Unwanted, the most important conversation on the internet. And then some of my old episodes on Conspiracy Social Club and Zero are available for free. If you do like Zero, just go and leave us a 5-star review. It would really help the show. And then we have our affiliate programs, and I'm about to start putting some more. But gold and silver, go up.
Wise Wolf. Yeah.
Wise Wolf, gold and silver. I'm going to be making a big purchase coming up here.
Go to samtripoli.gold.
And we're probably going to talk to that rancher, too, about getting an affiliate program going with him.
He said, dude, I talked to him the other day. He said he's been swamped with
Yeah.
orders from
The
Good.
swarm. The swarm shows up because we take care of you, because we love you. And then also, I'm going to be talking to Tim James, and I'm going to be getting some crystal friends, friends who do crystals and
Crystal meth.
Oregon
Nice.
and all that stuff. Yeah, we'll have a ton of people on crystal meth on the show. Today's show is about the Watchers. Anything else, guy? Oh, you got a live show.
October 12th. Buy tickets at fullytoxic.com. Rick Thorne, Lisa Ayat, the Flying Jew, and Craig Cotton. So go get your tickets there. It's gonna
Go
be a great
grab
show.
your tickets. Xavier
Monte.
always puts on a great show. We appreciate you guys. Real quick, what's your Instagram? What's your
XG marks the spot in any platform.
Johnny?
Johnny A. Woodard on Instagram, Johnny Woodard on Twitter.
Sam Tripoli on Instagram. Boo, boo, boo,
Got it
boo,
back.
boo, boo. Got back. And then, okay. And then
I'm excited,
either
man.
official Tripoli or Tripoli official on Telegram. I mean on Twitter, but hopefully with Elon Musk, they say I might be getting back my.
I hope that happens. I really do, just to see what happens. You know what I mean?
you think
it's
he'll
the
let-
most interesting thing?
He's
that
gonna
can
let
happen.
all the savages.
You
in.
no, wait up. You think he'll let all the accounts they banned like just here?
That's
you go.
what
I
he
don't
said.
know. I just want to see. You know what I mean? Like it's more interesting if he buys it, just so.
That's what he
we'll
said.
Get to learn something.
That's what he said.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
wanna
guys.
learn that.
Love you guys. Enjoy the show.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind.
All right, let's get into it. Very excited today. We have some great guests joining us in studio. He's a good friend of mine. He's got a channel on Rockfin called Zero Dark 30. Please welcome Tony D'Amato. How are you, buddy?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.
I'm glad you're here, buddy. I'm glad
to
you're
be
here. It finally made it happen. And via the power of Zoom, he is a regular on here. He has always made a strong case for Mount Crushmore. He got votes. People love him. Christopher Knowles, how are you, brother?
I'm doing great. Great to be
Christopher,
here.
you look great. You look clean shaven. You got amazing facial hair. What's going on? You got light in your eyes.
Clean living, buddy. Clean living.
I'm with you, bro. That's all I've been doing, dude. I was staring at myself in the mirror today at the gym going, something's going well. Because I feel good. I feel really good.
You have a little glow high up on your cheeks.
A little glow, bro. A little glow. So, Christopher, what's up? What's new? What's been going on? Talk to us.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I've been doing a lot of work for my Patreon. I've been doing a lot of live streams, and I've kind of been trying to dig at like what's at the core of all this craziness we're seeing going on, particularly today. I mean, some of the things we've talked about before, 9/11 and so on. I've got some 9/11 material here, but I'm really just getting to the core of, the true elite belief system, what it's really all about, what they really believe, what's at the bottom of it. And it's something that I had suspected all along, but now I've got some really solid proof, and it's just blowing my mind because nobody's talking about it, or people may be alluding to it, but I don't think people have really put the pieces together. So right now I'm like, my head's just kind of spinning because it's to get the real smoking gun proof that you were looking for is just absolutely amazing. But basically what it boils down to is the elite belief system is the Watchers. First Enoch, fallen angels, the 200th, the third of the host. I guess one of my dads, since you think I'm a Nephilim and so on. But
well, I am really into this, and this has kind of been our theme this week. This is a spiritual war. If you think it's about money, if you think it's about power, you're not paying attention and you're just doing some basic bitch shit, right? Like, that's what you're doing. Like, if you're not digging deeper into what is really going on, because they have all the money and they have all the power, why would they want to wreck this system that they already have? This is spiritual, and they're coming for us. And all of these people that I see on this screen, and we have a bunch of people doing the eye thing, and all these people think they're part of that plan, and they are just all tools of this very dark movement that's going on. That is just a bunch of entities have made deals with families and people to basically try to destroy humanity, because they're trapped here. In my humble opinion, they're trapped in this realm, and they hate us for it. And that's why I'm excited to talk about this, because I think it's a very important discussion.
Yeah, well, it's just amazing when you're reading about, like, since the clot shot came in, we've had like a 20% reduction in the birth rates, which were always low, have gotten lower over the past 20 years or so. People dropping like flies in their mid 40s, perfectly healthy people, anywhere from like teens to 40s. And then all the trans stuff, all this genital mutilation and sterilization, surgical sterilization. I mean, it's just an overarching agenda with a lot of different parts, It seems to be even clearer now with this, now that, the threat of war, a hot war in Europe seems to be ramping up every day now. So, yeah, these are perilous times. I mean, this is it now. I mean, this is the big game. The big game's begun, People have been wondering for years, when's this all going to start? You're just blowing smoke. This is all just fake. This is all just fantasy, paranoid fantasies. And now we're seeing everything really ramping up faster than anyone could have imagined, I think.
The most amazing part is how people are willingly participating in all this. Like these doctors that are doing this mutilation to children. Like, how can you, in your heart of hearts, think that is okay? Like, I mean, I'm old enough to remember that if you want to give a kid steroids so he's better at football, you were chastised and ran out of the village with people with torches and pitchforks. Like, you were hated. Now people are co-signing on this. Like, what is going on?
Well, in my opinion, what I think is at the core of it is just the creation of as much chaos, social chaos, as possible. So, the shots and like I said, the war situation, the gender stuff, the street violence, the racial stuff. I think there's just an idea that as much chaos that can be unleashed has to be unleashed, because according to one timetable, they expect, the big show, they expect the heroes to return in 2025. And that's a prediction that was made back in the 1940s. So, we're right on schedule for that eventuality, I think.
Okay, let's get into this. Who are the heroes?
Well, the heroes, as I said, are the Watchers. The Watcher angels, the fallen angels, in the Book of Enoch. I mean, they're alluded to in Genesis 6. The sons of God that mated with the daughters of men produced the race of giants, Nephilim, Anakim, Rephaim, number of others, number of different tribes. And I can't attest to, the actual physical reality of this, but I certainly believe very strongly that this is a core religious belief at that highest level. And it's something that I've been looking at for a while, since I discovered the whole Millennium Dome show, which was just basically, playing this out. Took place in the Y2K. There were 999 performances of this thing. It was just basically, the demons of the air and the daughters of men and the new race and the destruction of the technological world and the agrarian utopia and so on. I mean, all these kind of things that we're hearing about. So again, I mean, it sounds hard to believe, because everybody goes, oh, this is satanic. And it's like, they're almost right. I mean, you're almost there. I mean, the fallen angel stories really predate the whole stories with, Lucifer as a fallen angel, which those stories are non-canonical, by the way. They're not biblical. Well, for that matter, neither is Enoch. But it's just something that you see over and over again. And I think it explains, all this eye symbolism that you see. We can talk about the eye symbolism at Ground Zero and so on. I don't know if the slides are up, but I've got this picture of all these dopey celebrities doing that one eye thing. And, the thing that really occurred to me is that, so, it's the eye, it's the Watchers, and then the fingers make a W, right? So it's just, I don't think they have any idea what they're doing. They're just told to do this by photographers and designers who are told by other people to do this, by the way. I don't know if you allow these idiots to be in on any of the overarching agenda, right?
I think that's a really good point.
Me too. Yeah.
I think people need to understand that sometimes people just do stuff because they think it's funny. And then there's people who isolate these things. Like, I can't tell you how many times I see on Twitter or on YouTube, somebody takes like one moment in a video, freezes it, and then, look, he's making bath mitts, hands. You're like, dude, the guy was going to grab a cigarette. What are you like talking about?
I mean, that's really slick.
Context.
I mean,
Context.
That's next level fucking hand gestures.
And it's just like, it's just like, I get it, man. You're connecting a lot of dots, and I appreciate it that you're really concerned. And even like some of the most like extremists in the conspiracy world, I appreciate what they're basically trying to do. And their heart of hearts, at their most simple, deep, deep, deep inside them, they want to save humanity. They want to help their fellow man. And even if you don't necessarily agree with their point of view, they are trying to help. And to the point that we get to, we're a lot like what people say about the left or the progressives, where we eat each other alive, right? It's like someone gets really big and then all of a sudden they just go through every picture ever taken of them in their entire life. And look at this guy. He was like 5 feet away from that guy at this time. And that shows that everybody, and what also, it acts like people don't grow and change and become different people over time, and new information comes in, and then they do that. So I'm not saying that these people are all 100% innocent of everything. They fully participate in it. They may be there because of certain data that the elites have learned about them, that they're into certain things, that they do certain things, and they can manipulate that for blackmail to push a certain narrative. But like, not everybody is controlled opposition. It's like, what are they getting for this controlled opposition? My T-shirt guy one time's like, I go, yeah, I just got called controlled opposition again. He goes, oh, dude, you drive a Mitsubishi. You're not controlled opposition, right? I mean, it's like, what are we doing here? If you saw where I lived, you'd be like, my bad, you're not controlled opposition at all. So I think it's very interesting, but they don't know what they're doing. And people do say stupid stuff. I have a lot of my friends who are podcast people, and they always get these sound bites isolated. And it's like, if you do this long enough, you're going to say some dumb shit.
I also think some of these artists run with it. Once you tell them they're Illuminati, I'm just going to keep doing this and keep doing
By
this.
the way, that will be on a meme somewhere at some point.
I just fucked up. Now I'm part of it. But you see what I mean? Because Jay-Z does it a lot. Jay-Z throws up the sign all the time, and people just run with it.
I think he's...
Now, there are people who are a part of it.
Yeah, I think
I'm just saying...
He's a candidate.
You have to look at the entire body of work, not a moment. That's what I'm trying to say.
Context, yeah. Patterns.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about our friends at MyBookie. Football, you pick winners all the time. So why not get paid for them at MyBookie? Bet single game spreads, money lines, or parlay multiple bets together to increase your payouts.
With low contest entry fees and more than $500,000 to be won, MyBookie makes it so that you don't have to be a pro gambler to have fun.
Getting started is easy. Just visit mybookie.ag and use the promo code tinfoil hat on your first deposit to secure a double deposit bonus. Pew, 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 pew. That promo code tinfoil hat to get your first deposit matched dollar for dollar, all the way up to $1,000. MyBookie is a proven sports book that makes it simple to bet and win. So make your winning season exclusively at MyBookie. Again, getting started is super easy. Just visit MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code tinfoil hat on your first deposit to secure double bonus. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code tinfoil hat. So this thing just happened today. I don't know if you saw this, Christopher Knowles, but Anthony, jump in anytime you want. That this group in Louisiana is pulling out their basically pension from BlackRock, the investment firm, and they're like, we're tired of what your ESGs and your cultural Marxism, what you're doing. We're pulling out. Now it's $750 million. That's a lot of money, except for when you got $1 trillion. But
it's a drop in the bucket, but still.
It's a statement. Yeah. It's a lot of money, bro. It's a lot of money. And maybe this gets other people to go, hey, we want to pull this out. All this is cultural Marxism. All this is well-funded. If it wasn't well-funded, it would be getting ratings, and we see it's not at all in any way. So I think we're living in an interesting time, but these people are all playing a game.
Well, when you're talking about some of the overlords that sort of have this plan, right? This overall plan, control, domination, population, it seems that agenda is winning in so many ways. And the hope for humanity to win, because I absolutely believe that there's a spiritual war. I believe that this has been planned for a long time, and I do believe that mistakes are made in this plan. You know, when you roll something out and it doesn't really quite go the way, the way, and you could see that. People like us can see these sort of patterns. And again, what Chris was saying with context. Absolutely. You have to understand the context. Could somebody just be sitting there for a moment?
Yeah.
And yeah, people are pulling those things to really just elevate their own sort of
Cloud chasing.
shallow tone. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of cloud chasing in that. But you're 100% correct. Dude, it is impossible to run planet Earth. It is impossible. There are too many moving pieces. As you slowly descend from the top to the bottom and you get down 10 layers, right? 10 levels, you're going to run into an idiot somewhere. Someone got their kid in, their nephew need a job, and they get their nephew in, and then he fucks everything up. That's going to happen. It's impossible to run planet Earth. You can barely get a Burger King to run correctly. Now you're going to get the New World Order to run correctly. It's just never going to freaking happen, bro. But these are the moments we have to seize on, and we have to understand that more and more of these mess up. Someone like Klaus Schwab is as I think, as aware of what's going on around him as Hillary Clinton. I guarantee you. He is surrounded by yes people who all control social media. And he's just like, are we winning? They're like, yeah, we're winning. Everything's winning. We are winning. You're doing great. Oh, Hillary, you want an Apple TV show where you do comedy? Oh, people are loving it. They think you're just so quick from your artificial hip you got there. It's unbelievable, right? And it's just like they don't see what's going on, which is to me we are becoming more aware of their plan all the time, and people are pulling themselves out. And you could say whatever you want about the left. I mean, the right and Republican. I don't like Republicans. The new school conservative versus old school conservative. I like them. What they do, and what they do is when they don't like something, they do the thing you're supposed to do: pull their money, time, and energy out of it, and you just watch the system collapse. Any thoughts, Christopher?
Well, speaks to things I've been saying for a while, and I think one of the problems that people fall to is assuming that these people, just because they have this power in these positions, have the intelligence to back it up. And I think increasingly they don't. And I think that's one of the reasons why, I think all this is ultimately going to fail. I think it's ultimately going to fail. I mean, all this, because, these are plans that were made a long time ago when people were a lot smarter and they were a lot tougher and they had more patience and forbearance than they do today. And, all you have to do is just watch all these videos from Davos with, all these idiots like Schwab and that, Yuval Noah Harari is just a total fraud. And all of them, all the rest of them, all these people at Davos, all these WEF people, they're all just drones, because the way the systems become is that it becomes so complex and they develop such inertia that if you're anybody who has any sort of freestanding intelligence, you're going to be wheedled out of the system. They're just going to get rid of you. They don't need people who are intelligent or self-directed or motivated, because those people rock the boat. When these institutions become so big, their first order of business is to maintain their power, and they maintain their power through stability, and stability is maintained through mediocrity. So we have so many things going on, but this, of course, leaves out the possibility that we are dealing with some sort of supernatural intelligence that, has planned for that expects everything to just fall apart, that, expects these big overarching plans to be put into place and just totally collapse. Which I think is inevitable. Just the fact that just basic competence across the board is just falling. And, I hate to be one of these kind of like old men yelling at cloud types, but I have no faith in the Zoomers to be able to maintain a complex, technologically oriented system, because what that requires people who, aren't constantly looking for praise, can take criticism, are willing to put long hours in, all the things that this younger generation is quite open that they don't want to do. So, I mean, the other thing too is that, there's an assumption that, this speaks to what you were saying, that, say somebody like Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook. I just heard that they're going to be laying off 12,000 people. 12,000 people. Everybody thought, oh, this metaverse, we're all going to be forced to live in virtual reality. It's like, that's never going to happen. That company is going to be gone within, I would say, 4 or 5 years. They're already lost half their market cap. So there are all these plans, but don't assume that the people carrying out these plans, A, even understand them anymore, and B, have the capacity to execute them.
The human factor, right? The human factor plays into the calculation that cannot possibly be quantified in the beginning when the plan is made.
No, you're totally right. Regardless of whatever you think of flat Earth and all that, and I get that, we've had people super passionate about it. Some people are not.
I'm too old to care.
Yeah, well, it doesn't change my life either way, But for me, it's like, there's technology now that can answer that, and it's like kind of changed the game in a weird way. Like when these plans came up, they didn't realize there would be ways for 5 people to get on here and talk openly about how this is going to go and what they're doing, and then our conversation gets sent out to 100,000 people, right? And they all listen to it, and they connect it to other people. Now we got this ripple effect, and it's real hard, and people are waking up for it. And every time they run a psyop on us, and we discover it, that's duly noted. And now it's almost impossible for them to run another psyop like that.
But when you talk about people like, Klaus, Soros, all these people, these are faces. These are faces that are shown, right? The real, I fully believe that there's the whole behind the curtain, the people that don't want their face to be seen. I've been doing some deep dives lately. A lot of them are connected to places like some of the most powerful agencies in the world today in Hollywood that take that group and represent them. They're their speakers, WEF people. Not just that, but the same agencies that represent Biden and these WEF speakers also represent influencers like J.P. Sears, for example.
That's a great point.
And you
They're
see this
basically
connection.
handlers at this point.
Right. I mean, so now you have this, like, what the fuck is he doing being represented by this company if he's going up every day and speaking against it, right? They're in the same bed.
Yeah.
Wait, which agency is this?
CAA.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, CAA represents...
with the big all-seeing eye in their courtyard. Yeah.
They represent a lot of WEF members as speakers. So you
go
can
through everybody who got Me Too'd, every comic that got Me Too'd. What do they all have in common? CAA.
That's right.
CAA threw all of their own people under the bus.
It was a deadwood clearing operation. I mean, I've said this a number of times. Me Too and whatever, Time's Up, all these things. Rose McGowan has sort of been chased into, I don't know even, where is she even now? I mean, but she came out and said, this is all CAA. This is all a CAA project. This is about getting rid of the deadwood. This is about getting rid of the people who make too much money and are not producing anymore. People like Harvey Weinstein and Les Moonves and whomever else, just people who had too much power and were not bringing home the bacon anymore. It was a classic deadwood clearing operation. And it was perfect because when you disgrace them like that, you bring up all these things that, you've known about for years, not only can you get rid of them, but then you don't have to pay them severance, so you don't have to pay their pensions or whatever, you work for a company like that, say like CBS or Paramount or whomever, Sony, when you leave, you have a golden parachute. They give you a lot of money, and in this case, when they just basically kicked you to the curb, you got nothing. In some cases, you got a very expensive legal bill. So it was actually a work of evil genius. I mean, CAA is definitely, pretty much the controlling force in Hollywood right now.
Absolutely,
I don't think
100%.
people would argue with that. But you know, they're the captains of a sinking ship. They really are. I mean, this past month, I think this September was like the lowest grossing month at the box office in over 26 years. And that's even when you take into account that ticket prices are twice as much as they were 26 years
it's
ago.
the homophobes. The homophobes weren't going to the movies. That's
Full
what
on.
Yeah, because of that game.
But you know, I don't understand the whole woke thing. I mean, I think it's kind of like a poison pill virus that was just implanted into the system, because everybody who gets, you know, there's a classic get woke, go broke, but it's really true. I mean, it's a virus that you take into yourself. It infects your entire operation. It infects all the decisions that you make, and then you're fucked. I mean, these companies are all fucked.
But isn't it just just a new version of the Bolshevik Revolution? Like what they did to Russia, they're trying to do to us, and the difference between us and them is that we have the internet, which is keeping score, and people are waking up to it. But that's what they do, man. You can't
Run the
go
same
in,
play.
You
Run
can't
the
go
same
into
play.
Russia.
Yeah.
You can't go into Russia. You can't go into Russia and wage war. The winters are too cold, it's too big, and the people fight too hard. Guess where else you can't do that? You cannot run an army into America. You can't do it. They're all going home in body bags. There's too many, and we're all fighting right now. And the minute we see an army coming, everyone's gonna link up and start fucking. Not so. My dad grew up in like the 50s, 60s
Right.
in Niagara Falls, New York. He used to tell me he was white and the blacks would all fight. And the only time the whites and the blacks got along together when Canadians would come in and try to bang their girls. Then they would get together and they would beat the shit out of Canadians. And that's what's going to happen. Now, I am very nervous that now it's coming out that there are Chinese police stations in America. That makes me very nervous. That's boots on the ground, in my humble opinion.
But you know, the thing you have to understand, but this is what I'm saying about woke, is that who has really sucked hard on the woke pipe? I mean, it's all the institutions that were always dominated by liberals.
But who's
So it's like
holding that
Hollywood,
pipe? You know, who's
What's
holding
that?
it? Who's holding that pipe? It's the people like Peter Thiel, right? Like the American techno oligarchs that come in. And
Is it American or is it the same ones that always? They're they just happen to live here. It's all the same people, man. It's like if you go back to like Israel and stuff like that, there's a lot of British monarchy influence on Israel. Same thing with the Vatican. You know, these are the same players. There's just different people sitting at the table, but they're all at the same table.
Right. And
it goes back to it's like Britain, the Vatican, they're incestuous together. I mean, it's all the same people, same groups.
Well, you know, it's funny because when we talk about the eyes and the watchers, just segueing back to this discussion here, I always find it really funny that, you know, basically the reconstituted British American Empire is called the Five Eyes, right? You know, it's Canada, America, England, Australia, New Zealand, you know, the Five Eyes. So there's that eye symbolism again, because the royals, the elite, you know, the banking families of England, City of London, Westminster, I mean, all those places, you know, at the top of the pyramid is the Watcher cult, you know, the people who worship the Watchers. And it ties in with like high level Masonic orders, you know, not like the little, what I call the Little League LARP Masons, you know, the guys down at the corner in your hometown, the LARPers, the Little League, you know,
with the hats, the Shriners, and those guys.
Yeah, the grandpa slow pitch softball Masons.
Yeah.
That's not the real thing.
And you hear them talk about it all the time. That like we're basically good. We're here to do good. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to
Yeah,
say.
but they do creepy stuff like microchip your kids and stuff, and you know, it's weird.
But I also think that that's such a big organization that just like any group, within the FBI, I guarantee you there's a bunch of good people.
Sure.
And then there's just a small group of like super extremists that are working for outside interests.
Just none of them get to the top of the FBI.
They never, no. They're never to the top. Yeah. The people at the very top play ball. And everyone, like, when you talk about, like, did we fake the moon landing? They're like, what, all those people in their line? All those people have shown a willingness to do whatever it takes to move up in NASA and get paid as much as possible. They'll lie to their mother if it means being in that room and making those paychecks. Never underestimate someone's ability to conform for a paycheck and a title.
But they need those dummy Masons.
What?
They need those dummy Masons for it to look like it's dumb as fuck.
100%.
Yeah.
And those dummy Masons are probably really trying to do wonderful stuff, and they mean well.
You and I both interviewed Mike Codell, the former New York detective cop. We both interviewed him, and he said something that was very interesting, and it kind of speaks to that about Freemasonry. He said about corruption. He essentially said, well, if you're a cop and they know that you're not down with that, they're not even going to come around you or ask you. So there's the same thing, corruption, the thing with it kind of like walks hand in hand, police being Masonic.
Well, my whole opinion is I have a cousin who just became a cop in Buffalo, and it took him some time. But I guarantee you, man, he's taking these psych tests, and they know exactly what they're looking for.
Right.
When they're looking for a dude who will go in there and like do some shady shit they needed.
Absolutely.
Play ball, blur the lines between legal and illegal. And they're probably more likely to sign that. If you're going into these secret, there's like a secret army in America, right? I guarantee you, man, they know they do those tests and they know exactly what they're looking for. On the right kind of psychopath to put them in there that isn't afraid to slit throats if they need to.
Yeah, the right predictive metrics will.
The data, bro.
Make
it's all
you
data.
famous.
Yeah. Hey guys, I want to tell you about our good friends and one of our longest running sponsors, Blue Chew. That's right. The nights are getting longer, but the breeze isn't the only thing getting stiff. That's right. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Blue Chew, dude. American made in America for American boners and American holes. Unless you're here illegally, and then we'll hit that too, okay? You can get American boners. Well, we don't care. Everybody's getting American boners, all right? American boners by our good friends at Blue Chew. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable tablet for a fraction of the cost, okay? You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead, be ready whenever or when the opportunity arrives. It is that simple, okay? Anytime, anywhere. The process is simple. Sign up for BlueChew.com, consult with their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, bam! Your prescription will come within days. Okay, the best part, it's all done online. You don't have to go to the doctor's office. You have to see your mom's best friend at the front. You're like, yeah, I'm just here. I got some problems with my boners, blah, blah, blah. She's like telling everybody at card games. Nope, no more of that. You don't have to wait in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA, and prepared and shipped directly to you to your door in a discreet package. Or, like me, you make them put fireworks on it so everyone knows a show's about to go down, okay? It's real simple, guys. Here's what we need you to do. So if you could benefit from some extra confidence when it's time to perform, chew it and do it. Have better sex, okay? And we've got a special deal for you. Try Blue Chew free when you use the promo code TIMFUL at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code tinfoil to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this podcast.
Well, I'll tell you one story. I mean, this was a while ago, but I had a friend, and she said her friend's husband became a New Jersey State Police, joined the NJSP, and they made him join the Masons. And she's like, what is this Masonic thing about? Like, what, they said when, he was made a state police cop that he had to join the Freemasons, that he had to join a lodge. And I was like, I don't know, I've never heard that before, but apparently that's a thing. But it's at the bottom of it, it's all like all these organizations, all these networks, it's all about keeping everybody inside the web. So just take away all the esoteric window dressing and all the rest of it. It's all about just keeping an eye on everybody. You know, it's like if you belong to all these different organizations, all these different boards, you know, you're on all these different corporate boards and stuff, there is such a disincentive for you to speak out, to go against the grain, because you're hemmed in by all these different groups, that all these different people that are keeping an eye on you, that are watching you. And it can be very, very subtle. You know, it's just like, you know, hey, I heard you said something on the on Twitter the other day. I don't know if I don't think we really like that.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you get the message and, you know, you fall right in line. So it's like, you know, people say, well, you know, who runs the world? It's like, look at all these, you know, you've got the Atlantic Council, you've got the Council on Foreign Relations, you've got, you know, all these NGOs, you know, all these like think tanks, you know, Hoover Institution and all these kind of things, all these different boards and stuff. It's a very tight knit network, you know, interlocking, because all these people serve on these think tanks, and then they go serve on these corporate boards, and then they go serve on some, you know, military industrial consultation board or something.
That's Peter Thiel. You're describing that one, Peter Thiel, with the people from Facebook and everything, for sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, but again, it's just like, to me, I always say the system is the egregore. You know, the system is the golem, because people are interchangeable. They can just kick it. And I think that's one of the messages that CAA was sending out with like the whole Me Too thing. It's just like, nobody is above the system. Nobody takes, you know, precedence. Nobody can beat the system. The system is in charge. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, you know, Les Moonves, guy running CBS, you know, billionaire. I mean, all this kind of power, all this experience. Boom, dude, you're gone. Forget it. You know what I mean? You're not bigger than the system. And they do this all the time. And they do this. It isn't just Hollywood or entertainment. It's all across the board, you know. And sometimes, to me, it seems like they'll just single people out, you know, just to make examples of them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a very elaborate labyrinth, basically, is what it is. That is the power structure. So, you know, Sam was talking about, like, you know, you have, you know, the influence of, like, the British royal family and the Rothschilds in Israel. And then you have in the Vatican, you have, you know, these Masonic groups in the Vatican. Then you have P2. And, you know, it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's everybody it always seems like everybody has to be in as many of these different organizations and different boards and different think tanks as they possibly can, because each time it's like a brick being built in, you know, in your tomb. Basically, it's, you know, the tomb of your freedom is being built brick by brick with every invitation you get to every conference, and to Davos, and to Bilderberg, and to Bohemian Grove, and you name it. You know what I'm saying? It's like these. I kind of feel sorry for these people, to be honest with you, because it's just like, yeah, you have a nice house and all this kind of stuff, but they have shown that they will take it away from you for absolutely no reason at the drop of a hat. You know what I mean? Just to terrify you.
Yeah, they call it, you know, I've always said this, man, when you sell your soul, and I don't think you'd literally sell your soul. I don't think it's yours to sell. I think you're part of the universe. But when you initiate the ritual of selling your soul, right, and you do it, just know they can do anything with your soul. They can do anything they want with you. You are literally the equivalent of this plastic cup. I can use this as much as I want. I've actually had one for 3 weeks. I've used the same cup, right? But I could also take this right now. I could pour some water in it, pour the water out, take this, throw it right into the trash, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And guess what? You can get a brand new one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's right there. It's right there.
How many times we've seen
Easily replaceable.
Yeah, that's what you do. You are at the whim of what they want, and that includes a lot of times a very public flogging going on, a belittling and a destroying of your reputation on purpose to get to.
Especially when your cup starts to think that it's special. You know, it's your only cup. That's like Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein was Hollywood. Like, he was synonymous with Hollywood. That guy was Hollywood. And CIA, I mean, Rose McGowan, like you were mentioning, Chris, she said CIA was his pimp, basically. They would bring him women, just throw him at his feet. So they knew all his crimes, and when it was time to take him out, he got taken out.
There's also something about, and Christopher said it earlier, that when you are no longer of worth, they like to throw you under the bus so everybody acts like they're cleaning it up, right? You see that a lot with these mafia people. When you're no longer producing, or maybe you don't have the respect of the younger bulls, it's like, let's arrest this guy, let's assassinate this guy, and then we look like we're doing good. The government's
it's the killing of the
up.
king. It goes,
Right. More
goes
the
back
bread
to
and
ancient
circus,
societies.
There's no bigger example than Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh yeah,
I think that was the biggest one. Hey, let's clean it up. Let's make it seem like we're doing something, and then arrest his
Well,
lane
you
for
know
no
who
one.
else was
who
like
just,
that?
Who?
The Vegas shooter. The Vegas shooter was suing casinos. When you have that job, which I believe is a gun runner, you do not show up on anybody's radar.
Well, just a quick point about Harvey and some of those guys that you were talking about real quick. When you kill the biggest lion, you have just sent a ripple of fear to everybody who needs to hear that message. So when someone and years of setting him up to put him in that position, the compromise, right? The putting him in that position so that they have him right where they want him, right? Just like an Epstein or something like that. Another distraction. What's going on here?
So
I
with
won't
Weinstein,
look here. Shell game.
Well, the thing I want to say with Weinstein is that not only did they kick him to the curb, but it also seems like a very heavy element of ritual humiliation. Putting him through, saying that he has a vagina or something. I don't know. It's like these weird things like,
totally.
His junk is like, he's like a hermaphrodite or something. It's like they just put him through every single pace. And the thing that I found really fascinating when, talk about the symbolism is that they put that statue of Medusa outside the courthouse where they were putting him through this ritual humiliation to just let him know, and to everybody who's sort of hip to the symbolism, that this was ritualistic, that this was ceremony. This wasn't just like, Harvey pissed a lot of people off going up. He hasn't been bringing in the bank. The Weinstein company was losing money hand over fist for years. It was like, no, we're not only going to make an example of him, but we're going to do it in a ritualistic fashion. So they get like sort of occult magical power from doing this. And that, that's the thing that I realized with all these rituals for years. I was just like, what is this all about? And you'd see people going, oh, it's like, I don't know, like mind control triggers or something. And it's like, no, it's magical ritual. And when you're constantly hitting with all this stuff, all the symbolism stuff, it's, it's entrainment. It's magical entrainment. It's like, a very slow and deliberate process where you're just step by step, you're brought into this worldview. I mean, nobody just sort of wakes up and say, oh, I'm going to worship the fallen angels. They look, that seems like a great idea to do. It's like, no, you sort of, you walked into this. And I'll tell you something, the thing that, getting into this whole elite belief system of the fallen angels, the thing that I find really troubling about it is that they are going to be able to, sow such chaos, create such chaos in the world that people are going to be calling out for, some sort of salvation, some sort of answer, war and famine and all this kind of stuff. And then that's when they'll bring in this belief system. And, if you see a lot of the science fiction, particularly people who are were closely associated with the Watcher cult, people like Arthur C. Clarke, like the whole thing with childhood Zen, it's like, oh, well, they're devils, but, they're going to save us. But, they're really after your kids and stuff. I mean, how familiar does that sound to us today? It's just like, we have been entrained with all like the superhuman stuff, which I basically argue is, incarnations of the Watchers and so on, all the mutants and the superheroes and, all these superhero teams that we've been seeing for 20 years or so that, they're not actually very heroic. They only care about themselves. They're this breakaway race and so on, mutants and everything. And it's like, everything's been set up, all the pieces are put into place. The question then becomes, do they have the wherewithal and the intelligence to pull it all off? Or will there be some other kind of intervention, to put this thing over? But, with the Watcher thing, they can say, well, listen, what you read about in the Book of Enoch, it's like, Enoch isn't canon. It wasn't accepted by Jewish authorities. It wasn't accepted by the church. So it's like, you can't believe what they say, that these fallen angels were bad. They're the good angels. And one of the quotes I pulled was basically Alice Bailey saying, they're the good guys. They made the sacrifice. God ordered them to, come to earth and to do all these kind of things. And it's going to be very compelling. It's going to be very compelling, particularly with all this, this weird witchcraft and occultism that they're pushing that is really emanating from Hollywood in so many ways. I mean, look, what is this show now? This Little Demon show. Have you seen that show? It's just basically,
brother. I don't watch any of it. I'm like, stop telling me to watch Dahmer. I'm just not going to watch it.
Right.
I watched that happen in real time. I don't need to go back as you try to get some good-looking Dahmer-looking dude to play Dahmer, like to make him like homoerotic. Like, get out of here, man. It's low-frequency shit. My question is this, and I want to get into your slideshow because we have this wonderful presentation. The question becomes, are they starting to realize that their push for cultural Marxism has overstepped its boundaries to the point that people are tired of it, that they've tuned out everything, that now they have no actual way of brainwashing us? I mean, people less and less are watching any of these. And I know these kids are all on TikTok, but that's early on, dude. I'm telling you, these kids getting something early, they grow up, they're like, I don't want to do that anymore. And I just think it's like they might have overshot their shot. I mean, you see that stuff with BlackRock.
Oh, yeah.
You see people getting fired. You see movies bombing. And it's not about the money, again, because they print the money, but they're not having the reach they used to have. It's just not reaching people. Now, we can get in the ley lines and what these ley lines represent and how they're amplifiers of energy. But does it continue? Do they go back the other way just a little while to convince us to come back in? Which I think is what they're going to try to do.
Do you know about the Hegelian dialectic?
No, what is that?
So the Hegelian dialectic is, it's thesis, antithesis, synthesis. So basically, it's like, David Icke used to talk about problem, reaction, solution.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing. So it's like you create a problem and then you present the solution to it. Or create a problem and you feed the reaction, you fire the reaction to it, and then you come in with the solution. And this comes from Hegel. Hegel's whole thing is that somebody will come up with an idea, some sort of revolutionary idea, and then there'll be the reactionaries. But out of that conflict between the revolutionary and the reactionary will be the synthesis, will be this new idea. So, I mean, when I see these kind of things like woke, which everybody first of all the people who invented wokeness, intersectionalism, and all this kind of stuff were all severely mentally ill. They were all just like really sick, demented people. A lot of them ended up dying in mental institutions and so on. So, I mean, they know what this stuff is, It's like, but you unleash this stuff because you want to break down a certain attitude or a certain cultural understanding. You create all this insanity, but, I don't think they expect woke and all that, DEI, DI, and all this other bullshit to be permanent. I think it's just like, you send in the anarchists and the, back in the old days, you send in, your street fighters and so on, and just just break everything up, smash everything up, create a mess. And then you come in with the real agenda. So, I mean, I really don't think the real agenda is woke. I think it's means to an end. And, one of the things that I talk about, on the blog a lot is how, this religious program that they have in mind, which is basically modeled on the old state cults of antiquity, they're going to be using wokeness to install. Great example in California when they were they wanted to teach kids to pray to these like Aztec human sacrifice gods, and they used the cover of woke, this is, they're so oppressed and, they're marginalized and represent and all these
for the greater
just
good.
absolutely meaningless buzzwords. But, just look at all the people who are woke. I mean, you can't run a society with these people. They're all, they're all sick and they're all incompetent. And they're, most of them are extremely lazy. These aren't like the revolutionary firebrands of like the 1930s. These are just lazy idiots. So they don't know how to do anything. None of them are good at anything.
They aren't good at anything. And when I watch these, like, I go, stop telling me how to live life. You look miserable. Your blue hair and you're walking around like a dog and you got pronouns and you're doing all this stuff and you're not even telling us all the pharmaceuticals you're on, how many therapists you're seeing.
Sounds like a zizzer.
Right? It just, what's a zizzer?
I don't, is that one of the pronouns?
No.
It's a new one. It's a new one. Don't worry about it.
Z and Zer.
That's
I know
my
that's
new
one.
Z and Zer.
Oh, there we go.
But none of it makes me think you have any clue what happiness is and how to live a fulfilling life. You are just an attention whore.
But, you brought up the Bolsheviks. So if you look at the Bolshevik Revolution, right? So it was all about breaking up the old forms, breaking up the old culture and everything. But 10, 15 years later, all the Bolshevik revolutionaries were being disappeared or lined up against the wall or, show trials. I mean, they got rid of all those people. Stalin came in and he wasn't not putting up with any of this kind of cultural stuff, this cultural liberalism. Culturally, the Soviet Union was far to the right of anything America ever was. I mean, under Stalin, are you kidding me? It was not, they were not, the Bolsheviks of the teens and 20s. It was just a totally different thing. And this is what I'm saying. These people get sent in. The classic example is the brown shirts. So Hitler had these brown shirts where all these like macho, gay, beer hall street fighters, right? And they would get into these huge street battles with Antifa, the original Antifa and everything, or, whatever sectarian outfit you can imagine. They were the muscle. They came in, they broke everything up, they smashed everything up. And as soon as Hitler gets into the power, there's the Night of the Long Knives, and they're all, boom, they're all executed.
I say that
one by
all
one.
the time. Yeah, I say that all the time, Christopher. These people have no clue what they're begging for. You want Marxism, man? Take a look what happened. They go in there, they change everything up, and then they just completely annihilate ethnic minorities, women, and alternative lifestyles. Go look at China. Go look at Russia. That's what they do.
It's begging for your enslavement.
You're a useful idiot. They use you as an idiot, and then once they've gotten their system in, then they go wipe out all the people who helped do it because they truly hate you deep down inside.
Well, this was through a lot of the Bolshevik time. That was some of the Operation Trust factors that came in, which is sort of a skeletal blueprint for QAnon, for what happened with QAnon. When you're going back and right, so you've got your Operation Trust factor in that whole Bolshevik area. What do you think of that part, Chris? Some of those things.
I'm with you 100%. QAnon was a pacification program from day one. Trust the plan. The white hats are taking care of everything. We're going to throw all these people in prison. It's just playing on people's Hollywood visions of the way the system works. And absolutely, Operation Trust. But that goes back. I mean, a lot of this stuff comes from the Jesuits during the Counter-Reformation as well. They were sort of the ones who really came up with a lot of these basically counterinsurgency, counter-revolutionary ideas that you saw. And Q was just a great way to get all these people to just sit home and wait for, the arrest to happen that never came. TikTok, all this kind of nonsense. So I agree with you 100%.
Hey, Chris, when you said people's Hollywood vision of the way the system works, can you drill down on that a bit? What did you mean by that?
Well, this idea that, Trump is such a superhero that he's just going to come in and he's going to smash the bad guys. He's going to drain the swamp, even though he has absolutely no institutional support. All the bureaucracies were dead set against him. The intelligence, FBI. I mean, just the fact, he could just come in with like a handful of these people, some of these people were military and so on, all of whom ended up stabbing him in the back. And just like, it's like he comes in and he's Superman. Superman's going to come in and just make everything okay, just with the wave of the magic Trump wand. And it's just like, no, that's not the way the world works at all. It's like the system is so built in with so many multiple levels of redundancy that they have no problem dealing with somebody like him, an insurgent, sort of a populist. They have no problem getting rid of these people. But it's just like this whole idea of like, that the arrests are coming and everything. And it's just like, well, who's going to arrest them? What if the FBI is completely under the thumb of the DNC and like, the Open Society Foundation and all these other kind of organizations, you think they're going to arrest their own? And all this thing with this Durham investigation, it's all this like hero worship, and it's childish. It is.
Who exactly
like
is going to put the handcuffs on Hillary Clinton?
No, but here's my whole opinion is that these people are never meant to be arrested because it's all part of the haunted house we live in. They're thespians that live in their whole purpose is to lower our frequency, heighten our anxiety so we're easily manipulated. That's why they never get arrested, because they are actors playing a role.
That's what I think Pelosi, her husband getting arrested DUI, they let that out and then they let him out to piss us off on purpose.
Yeah.
I was like, why would you even let that out if you're going to let him out?
The stick of the carrot.
Yeah, it's to piss me off. I got a DUI. I'm like, why did I get one and he doesn't deserve it?
But it's interesting too, though, because look at how quiet she's been since that happened. She was on TV, like she was basically, okay, I'm the real president. We have this doddering old fool and this dumb whore as his vice president. I'm the real president. I'm running the show. I'm the one who's really in charge. And she was giving press conferences like every day, and like, where is she now? We haven't heard hide nor hair of her. So
I think someone checked old Nancy. I think someone gave her a little chin check.
Well, I think there's just, there are always factions in any organization. Human nature is the constant, and people are going to get together and they're going to have sort of like, a goal and a purpose in mind, but they're going to have their own ideas about reaching it. And of course, everybody wants their own nest to be feathered the best, right? They want, all the cookies, and they're going to constantly be battling it out and scheming with each other. This is one of the things that really destroyed our society. I think one of the most destructive things that we've experienced in the past 20 years is all this bullshit like Survivor and Big Brother, all these like quote unquote game shows that just taught people to become manipulative pricks, just totally destroy social trust, totally destroy, the idea of competency where, you can have somebody on the island who gets voted off the island because he's too competent. The other people feel threatened by him because he's the best at everything.
He's a comp beast. That's what they call them, comp beasts. They're competition beasts, which basically just means they're successful people. So we got to get them out of here. You're totally right.
Yeah, well, exactly. But it's like if that was a real life situation, everybody would die. You know what I mean? Like you need somebody who knows how to like start a fire without a lighter or something. It's just like, but it just taught people, particularly like these kind of housefrowy, middle-aged white women, to just become manipulative bitches. And I think the woke, and then you add the woke cancer in.
Yeah, that's the sorcery of it.
You know what I mean? And it's like so much of wokeness, it really is in a lot of ways to the people who are wielding it. It's a winnowing tactic. So what it is that we have this thing called, and this happened before the Russian Revolution too. It's a phenomenon known as elite overproduction, and basically it's like, you know, society has a prosperous period, and people have people particularly in like the gentry class have a lot of kids and everything, and there's just too many of them. Too many people that want to be editors and anchormen and movie producers and, you know, all this kind of knowledge kind of work and so on and so forth. And it gets to the point where you build this critical mass that you need to start getting rid of people. So how do you get rid of people? Like exactly what we said with CAA and Me Too and everything. You know, it's like you have these files on, you know, everybody knew what Harvey Weinstein was from day one. Everybody knew that he was, you know, a sexual predator, and they put up with it because he was making money. And, you know, as soon as he's not making money, they get rid of him. And it's just like, it's the same thing with woke. It's like, oh, well, you said something on Twitter, you made like a racist joke or a joke that I interpret to be racist, you know, back when you were 15 years old. It's like, we're just going to completely shut you out of the system. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. It's a winnowing tactic. You get rid of the competition. But what happens is that you just end up with the people who are the most manipulative, who are the most ruthless, who are the they spend so much time with all this scheming because they don't have any talent. So they're usually the least talented. And that's what we have as a society now. It's like we are so on the verge of like just full on idiocracy. It terrifies me, to be honest with you.
I completely agree with you. I think that things like the Kardashians and who they pick are all meant to manipulate people in some kind of like weird, bizarro starseeds type way, where it's like you're a model for behavior. And what do? They just start. I mean, the Kardashians are witches. Everything about them is witches, right?
Literally, by the way.
And we get to the point where it now has officially come out that her mother picked the porno, and guess what the reaction was? Who cares? We've all moved on. It's all old school thinking. Again, there is no consequences for these thespians in the haunted house. They are there. This is their purpose, is to cause chaos.
Don't you think that's why someone like Kanye is so interesting? Because he doesn't seem to. I really want to know what you think he's doing. What's his deal? Because it seems like he was one of those thespians
People
you're
go
talking about.
off the reservation.
Is that what you think's happening?
But I also think that they. So, Christopher, I don't know if you remember this, but you know the big counterculture movement of the 60s and 70s. In which like Noam Chomsky and all those guys that was fully funded by the intelligence service of the United States. So
absolutely.
So am I saying that they're funding everybody? No, but man, they do like to show that there's here in this country and our way of operating, we allow people to call out stuff. We allow for a Kanye West to go off reservations. Like they'll allow one guy to do that. These other rappers do that. Bang, bang, pow, they're taken out. But a song like Kanye shows, the system, man. You're allowed to question the system.
That's what I wonder. Do you think he's taking a risk, or do you think
I think he's taking a risk. I think he's taking a risk, but he may be being allowed to take a risk and he doesn't know it.
Gotcha.
I think he got away from that Kardashian coven with his hide. You know, it's like, look what they do to their men. Look what those witches do to their men.
You're so right.
You know, they just destroy them. And I think he knew that, you know, he was next on the list, and, you know, he had to just break away entirely. And, you know, as soon as he did, whenever he says something that's off script, you know, you have all these losers and bots and so on Twitter attacking him for it. You know, I think he's genuine. I think he's kind of crazy, but, you know, I think that he got away from that coven, you know, the Kardashian coven, and, you know, I believe he kind of understood the stakes. You know, I mean, those women are toxic.
Is
There's
Kanye
no question
with
about
CAA?
it.
Is Kanye with
I
CIA,
think
guys?
he probably was. I don't know if he still is.
Yeah.
But listen, what does Kanye West do? Like, I'm not saying he's doing this knowing it, but if they're like, yeah, let him say crazy shit. And now you got the BLM and the black community fighting with each other, right? So we had this thing happen at ESPN where this Boston Celtics coach was being a pure scumbag and banging all of his boss's wife. Like, it's unbelievable, bro. This guy went around, banged his boss's wife, the vice president, and then banged the minority owner's wife, too. Like, what? So, anyways, the story
He has a real proclivity.
I mean, you gotta be the dumbest dude on the planet. Anyways, so now
It
this
is a little weird, though. I mean,
I
to
mean-
me, that suggests like maybe there's something. Maybe that's what they do. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's the game.
Dude, we've done Cookapalooza here on
That's
this
what
show
I'm saying,
before.
dude.
They pass each other around all the time, dude. But then some people may not be into it, and that's why
That's
they
right.
are where they
That's
are.
it.
Well, you know, one thing I wanted to bring up is Coolio recently passed away, and I don't know if you heard that he did like some radio show, and he's just talking about all these shenanigans that people in the sort of the upper echelon of the rap industry kind of force on everyone else, like all this kind of like sexual dominance kind of stuff. And, you know, I mean, I don't think there's necessarily causation there, but I do find it interesting that, you know, he kind of drops dead after kind of blowing the whistle on that whole scene, so to speak.
I mean, they've talked about Dr. Dre being gay, Jamie Foxx being gay, Will Smith being gay. They've talked about that all the time. I mean,
Orlando Bloom or Johnson, what's his name? Orlando
calling out Will Smith.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
Bert
he's calling out a
Kreischer
lot
said
of
that he thought he had to have gay sex with him to make a movie.
Wait, what now?
Yeah, there's a story. Where,
Really? That's
yeah.
so funny.
So I mean, that's what happens. They got to buck break you, man. That's what they do. They buck break you, and that's very well known. I mean, I mean, like Snoop Dogg's kid is like, now we're seeing all these black celebrities who have like trans kids now. Like, there's just this game that happens that you have to do to play ball.
Do you think Dave Chappelle's one of the ones that got away from playing ball?
He literally got away. I mean, he physically had to remove himself in the United States for a couple years to break away from that whole situation.
How does one get away? You can't.
He was living in Africa.
Yeah, but I mean, still, you know, you're looking at.
Yeah.
We look at the haunted house, but who's building the haunted house? People like Jim Coulter from TGP. They're the financial overlords of CIA.
Yeah, but they're not building
and
it.
owned by BlackRock. Right?
Yeah, but they are thespians in it. The people built on the house are entities beyond that.
Who's more of an entity than BlackRock and TGP that owns?
Those are
CIAs?
puppets of the entity. We're
I
talking
see.
like
I
God,
see.
like Lucifer and all that.
I get you.
That's what we're talking. That's who builds a haunted house.
We're talking the Watchers,
The
Sam.
Watchers, bro.
Right.
Let's get into your slideshow. Let's see this, man.
sure.
I feel like I want to see what you got, man.
So we start at the top. Okay, so start at the top, and then next. So this is
Start right there.
stellar stuff. This is the stellar symbolism that shows up over and over again. This kind of leads into what I did a presentation on 9/11. But basically, so when you read the book of Genesis, the garden god is Cepheus, which is the northernmost constellation in the galactic plane. And then, you know, the cherubim set at the gates. I mean, these are these two constellations of Cygnus and Lyra, which has Vegas. So you talked about Las Vegas. Las Vegas to me was pure ritual.
Yeah.
From start to finish. I don't think that Paddock guy, whatever his name is, I think he was just a patsy, to be,
Me too.
to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
I don't
Me
think
too.
he had anything to do with that. But there was a lot. But you know, so this is a lot of stellar symbolism that I've been looking at for a long time.
But let me
It has
ask
to
you
do
something,
with-
Christopher. But like going back to what I said, that these people don't get held accountable because they're actors in a theater. So whatever happened that day, everybody in Vegas even the people in Vegas have all moved on. That play
I mean-
is done.
Yeah. But, the thing is that it was so obvious because you had that big pyramid right across the street and that big Sphinx. I think people I think even a lot of normies kind of I don't know about this whole situation. You got this rather sickly old man who can suddenly, gun down dozens of people, how many 300, 400 yards away with these bump stocks that, have this tremendous recoil. And, this is a weak, sick old man. And somehow he can break out this 3-inch plate window and all this kind of absolute nonsense. The whole thing was just, was ritual. Because also, if you look at the Sphinx there, that's the constellation Leo. And then Mandalay Bay is shaped like a Y, and that's a constellation of Cancer and so on. So the star symbolism, and it's kind of hard to go through in depth, but it really figures into a lot of the symbolism and a lot of the Masonic stuff, particularly with 9/11, but also with Mandalay Bay and so on. So, like I said, you have to be familiar with the constellations, but it's actually kind of simple. But it's all over the place, and all this occult symbolism, say like the goat of Mendez, which is that the goat and the inverted star and so on, and all the Masonic tracing boards are all illustrations, symbolic illustrations of these constellations and so on. So what it all boils down to is the fallen angels were cast out from heaven and want to return to heaven, want to return to the garden. And this is something that sort of had been boiling under in the culture for a while. And it wasn't until the late 1700s when this Scottish Freemason went down to Ethiopia and rediscovered the book of Enoch, which they'd been searching for because they see Enoch as the first, the first Freemason and so on. And he becomes the angel Metatron, so it's language and so on. So it does get pretty arcane if you're new to it. Once you familiarize yourself with the actual constellations, it's really simple because they just keep hitting the same ones over and over again. And if you go down to slide number 4, do you want to?
Yeah, it's not working.
One more. Keep going. It's slide number 4, so it's 2 down.
It's not reading it. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
No, that's we're way up. Okay. You just passed it. One more. Okay, so nope. Go. Yeah, there we go. There it is exactly. So these are the cherubim at the gate of Eden, and we see this. The ark is shaped like Cepheus. You can clearly see it's the square and the triangle there, and we see the cherubim, which are very, I told you about the angels were all trans, right? The angels are all androgynous, and we see these very androgynous angels there, and they've got the feet of calves and so on. But so anyway, so we see the correspondences with the constellations. Care to guess what this coat of arms on the right is for? Anybody care to guess what that is?
Freemasonry.
You're close. Keep going.
Illuminati.
It's the United Grand Lodge of England. So that's the coat of arms for the big Grand Lodge of England, who had their very, very creepy 300th anniversary at the end of October. So the beginning of October starts with the whole Mandalay Bay thing, Las Vegas, and then ends with their big get together. Go down one slide.
Is that some the as above, so below little symbolism right there too, as well with the wings? Would you say, Chris?
It's possible. I mean, that's just like on earth as it is in heaven. So it's just as above, so below is just basically mirroring the constellations with all these rituals. And here we see that the church steeples are all based on Cepheus. So I mean, these were all created by these from Freemasonic guilds who understood all this symbolism here. So I mean, people will say, "Oh, it's based on an obelisk," and it's like not exactly. It's based on Cepheus, and Cepheus in this whole symbolic cycle is God. The Garden of Eden, and so on. So if we go down, So let's skip to number 7 right here. So this is gonna. I hope this starts to ring bells because this is the gate of heaven. This is the west gate where they're trying to get the fallen angels back through. They can't go into the east gate because it's blocked by the cherubim. So this is the west gate. And we see Orion, who's associated with Nimrod, but he's also associated with Hiram Abiff. We see Boaz and Jachin, which is Castor and Pollux, Gemini. And then we see the Temple of Solomon, which is Auriga here. The House of David, Capella, the kids, the goat, and so on. But, the long and short of it, if we go down one more slide. Yes. So this is the big symbols for the Masonic orders. We have the 2 pillars, right? Boaz and Jachin, which is Castor and Pollux. And then we have the pentagon or the pentagram, which is Auriga. So this is these 2 constellations guard the stairway to heaven, the gateway to heaven. That Nimrod tried to build the Tower of Babel. It's all the same symbolism. It's all the same area of space. But what does that look like to you? So we have these 2.
The Twin Towers.
Twin Towers and the Pentagon. These are the things you have to get through to storm the gates of heaven.
Whoa, bro.
Wait up.
By the way, if you see Capella right now, if you look at it through a telescope, it's this crazy flashing like green and red colors because it's low on the horizon. Capella right now, it's beautiful.
So this is how you get to heaven. This is how you get more accurately get the fallen angels back into heaven.
What's the source of this illustration, Chris?
Which illustration?
The one on the left here.
The one with
that's the Masonic. It's called the Masonic blanket. It's similar to a tracing board, but all this is all stellar symbolism. This all connects to the various constellations. But again, the eye is the Watchers. So this is about returning the Watchers. That the true lords of heaven. The coming ones, the sacrificial ones, all this terminology. This is about returning them to the garden, and that's exactly what we see here.
So this is a portal. This is a portal, essentially.
Yeah, I mean it's the Stargate, right? It's the Stargate, and this is how you return to heaven. So if we go down one slide here, I don't know. Did we talk about this before? I forget. I've talked about this stuff. But anyway, so we see the kids, which is this asterism within Auriga, directly corresponding to the damage being done to the Pentagon on 9/11.
Oh, man. What? That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so what it is that you bring down the gates, you storm the gates, and then Capella is the chariot. It's the chariots of fire, all this different terminology. This is a chariot that you take back up into heaven. All right.
Wow. Let me get this acorn.
So we know about the Twin Towers and so on. I mean, that symbolism is pretty clear. Go down one slide. So what did they replace the Twin Towers with? With One World Trade Tower or something. But you can see that Cepheus is very cleverly encoded into there. So we see the square base and then the pyramidion here. So basically, what this represents symbolically,
it's upright and it's inverted. There's 2, kind of.
Yeah, what this represents symbolically is that the gates of heaven were stormed, the gates of heaven were torn down, and that the Watchers have been returned to their rightful place in the garden. The garden being Cepheus, being God, and so on. And go down one frame.
There we go.
One frame. Next slide.
Occasionally,
who's manning the slides?
Me, but it's like
our computer's a little weird. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Obviously, XG's been watching pornography on my work computer. It's not working right now. Please do not watch porn on the work computer that you somehow decide to start bringing home every day.
For some reason, I had premium for free already logged in on there. Yeah, a premium account. I couldn't stop myself.
All right, here we are.
So we see here, so that's square, that's the body of Pegasus, and we see how that corresponds to the well where the tower once was, and then we see Cepheus in the form of One World Trade Center, and then we have Cygnus, and this is going to be very important because this area that we see that I've labeled with corresponding to Cygnus is called the oculus. So what does oculus mean? Oculus means the eye. And this is kind of the centerpiece of this whole ritual cycle here. This oculus symbolizes the Watchers have been freed from their imprisonment. They were imprisoned beneath the earth, beneath Mount Hermon. We can talk a little bit about Travis Scott and Astroworld for that symbolism.
What?
But we see it here.
What the?
Yeah. So go down one.
And Oculus is the name of that VR thing for
Yeah,
Facebook. Right?
yeah.
Whoa.
Yes, exactly. So this was 3 years. This was put in 3 years before 9/11. This is at the Chambers Street subway station. This is also called Oculus. And you see these eyes. We see the flat Earth map here, and we see the eye at the North Pole here. This is an art exhibit, and if we go down one more frame, we see all the eyes. So these are the Watchers.
That creeped me out.
These are the Watchers, and we'll bring it full circle with this Oculus Path Station. But there we go. Again, this was installed 3 years before 9/11.
Is there something to all the people that are walking over that on the floor? Is there something to the ritual there about all the people just sort of, it's there, but people really aren't noticing it? Is there a frequency there that's being penetrated?
Called sigil magic, where it's like symbolism.
Exactly.
They tell you without telling you, and then it's also a little bit of bragging too.
It's also entrainment. People see this every day, and they process this stuff up unconsciously. Huh. So go down one more frame.
Amazing. Oh my! What?
This is another one of the sort of Watcher rituals. This is in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, and we had all these strange people in formation around this circular object.
This is on the news, by the way. That's on the. I think that's
right.
Who are these
this
people?
is an eye.
This is the news.
This is CGI type shit.
It's like a freaking joke, isn't it? It's like just a joke, right?
Well, it's what they do.
It's deadly serious. It's deadly serious.
I mean.
This is their religion.
This is almost, but it seems almost like a game. It really just seems almost like a very deadly game. But a game.
Well, they play with us like,
right? Exactly.
How much can they put out before we start to realize what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
perhaps
go down
joke
one more
was
frame.
a bad choice of words.
Who are those people? Sorry.
Okay,
Who were those people gathering?
Stop
Chris?
here.
Who were those people?
I don't know. I don't know who they were, but they look at how they're in formation.
Oh, of course.
Too.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, that's
almost
clearly
like
something
they're
that's drilled. It's drilled, right? They've clearly drilled that. Whatever.
Yeah, it's clearly drilled. Yeah. So this is a religious observation here. This is not some spontaneous expression of patriotism or something. Go down one frame. So here's the Oculus. This is also called the Oculus. So we have the creepy eyes in Chambers Street subway station, and that's the Watchers imprisoned, right? This is the Watchers freed. Now look at this. This is called the Oculus. Why is this called the Oculus? We see like this is wings, emerging from the subway, emerging from the ground. Well, it's called Oculus because this is the Watchers, and these are these sort of winged shapes are the wings of the Watchers. So what this is representing here is the Watchers freed from their underground prison, which was the Path Station. Which, if we go down one frame, so this is the entrance to the Oculus here. So this represents the prison the prison in the abyss, or beneath the abyss, actually, that the Watchers were cast into by Michael and his angels in the Book of Enoch here. So this is all the Oculus, right? So this is the Watchers in prison, but they're also being freed. And if we go down one more frame. So look at this. So we see that the Watchers are directly aimed at at Cepheus, at One World Trade Center, right there, right? You see that they're directly oriented towards. So this, if you just look at this visually, it looks like winged creatures flying to this monolith here, right?
Yeah.
And that's this. So this is the Watchers, and the fact that it's called Oculus. I think it's kind of self-explanatory in that regard. So go down one frame.
There we go again.
That's the Oculus.
Yes. So this is some of the other Watcher installations. This is back in 2010. This is Event
creepy.
Horizon. We have just basically Watchers, these male figures, standing above Madison Square in New York, just standing around looking down at the street.
Well,
so
you know
this
what?
is the Watchers.
This makes me think every superhero movie is about Watchers too, because that's all these superheroes do.
Yeah, well, now you're starting to catch on.
The Eternals, that whole Eternals
Batman
movie,
up there?
it's terrible,
Batman,
but Eternals is, that's what the plot of the Eternals is. It's these group that just watches humanity unseen, until they're needed, and then they come out and save the day.
So basically,
go ahead.
So for those who are listening, what Christopher's slide is it's like some. It looks like a rooftop of of two buildings, and they just have these statues of what looks like people. I'd say gray people looking in different directions. One's looking down, one's looking across, the other one looking across, and it looks like every scene from Batman. Any of your superheroes where they perch up somewhere and they're, in case something's about to go down, they got to take off.
And the other interesting thing too is that you can't see it from that image, but if you look at these images close up, they have like these two discs on their shoulders, so it looks like they had wings that were broken off.
Oh my God!
So this is clearly and this artist Andrew Gormley also created a giant. It's called the Angel of the North, this giant angel statue.
Oh yeah, in the north of England, right? Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's kind of controversial. It's huge.
This was all done around the Grand Lodge. So the Grand Lodge of New York was on 23rd Street, and this was just at the end of that same block. And these figures were all over the place, and this sort of caused a panic because everybody thought they were jumpers and so on. So go down one. So this is where the orbs come in. So this is the whole idea that these beings are actually like orbs of light that take form. And this goes back. I mean, this was in some interpretations of Egyptian religion. The gods were these light orbs, these light beings that took human form and became the gods and stuff. This installation is also at Madison Square. This is at Madison Square Park here. And this is called Whiteout. And we have all these orbs here. This is a few years after the Event Horizon, but it's the same symbolism with the fallen angels. Go down one, and here's Ariana Grande with her orb adoration. And again, this is all connected to the Watchers and so on. They put this girl through so many of these symbolic paces. She's like their little paper doll for all their little music video rituals, but it's the light is coming to give back everything the darkness stole.
Is that a
and
lyric
so on.
in the song?
That's one of the lyrics. Yeah, that's actually the refrain. It's kind of like the chorus of the song. It's a terrible song.
And she's involved in that giant psyop. She's involved in that giant psyop in England, where they're like, "Oh my God, shots fired!" And they're like, in their videos, nobody sees anything, And then earlier,
Go down one because we'll show you what happened that same day. Go down one.
This one?
This image on the left here. Where Trump and King Salman there, and I think this is Sisi from General Sisi from Egypt doing their little watcher adoration. That was the same day as
the
that
guy
whole
all the way on the
Manchester
right?
Arena.
That's
That's on the
Macron.
left.
I don't know who the chick is, and that's Netanyahu.
Netanyahu, okay.
That's Netanyahu and Emperor Jupiter there, Emmanuel Macron. There.
Wow.
Yeah. So so this is what I'm saying. This is high level stuff. This is they're showing
So
you
crazy, bro.
they're all they're all the same. They worship the same gods.
What's the
They adore the
purported?
same.
What's this purported to be? What is their explanation for this? The surface.
I don't even
explanation?
remember. It was just I don't even remember. It was just so weird.
It
and just
is
like it was so
weird.
Look at this like lighting. You know the way they're all sort of like lit from the bottom there. And
Yeah.
that's very ominous and everything. It's just so.
Isn't that when Trump
So
did the thing with the
strange.
sword? Wasn't there some sword thing? Isn't that same meeting that this?
I don't know.
Might have
that
been.
one?
Might have been. I don't know. But
Some
I
symbolic
mean, this just
thing
goes
with
to
the
show
sword
you.
that happened.
And they're all just watching these fools. And they're just sitting there looking. Yeah, they're fools.
Go down one. Go down one.
So let me ask you something real quick before we move on to that. Now, you keep saying that. Do you think that the Watchers have been released? They've already been released?
I don't have access to that information, but I think that in ritually speaking, if you look at the scope of this ritual, that 9/11, the ritual connotations, the symbolic connections there, speak to the fact that the Watchers were released, and then they're returning to the garden. So it's a third of the host were cast down from the stars, right? And they're imprisoned beneath the earth, Mount Hermon, and now they're going to be returned, to the northern part of the sky, Cepheus. And again, I can't speak to the veracity of this, whether this is an objective reality or this is just a belief system, but the symbolism, when you start to break it down and you get beneath, they like to present all these different variations on it, but once you get beneath that, it is all saying the same story. The Watchers are released and they're going to return to heaven to rule over the earth and so on. Damn. And that's what we'll see at Astroworld.
Next slide.
Next slide.
Yeah. Next slide. I have no clue what you've done to this poor computer.
Oh, no, we're too far. There we
This
up one.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is Astroworld, and then of course we see the Watchers, we see the hands with the big eyes and everything. And this stage set here, this is where the Watchers are imprisoned beneath Mount Hermon. So we see this mountain set here.
Are the Watchers related to the elementals? Are they related to I see you have
Like
Earth-
what, distant cousins?
No, the Watchers are, they're angels of the Lord, and in Enoch, and is sort of alluded to in the book of Genesis, they come to earth, they're the guardians of the earth, right? So they're meant to watch over the earth, the earth's guardian angels. But the problem is that they fall in love with human women, and then they hook up with all the human women, and then they create this new race of giants, which creates all this havoc.
Are the Archons and the Watchers the same thing?
It all depends on your interpretation. I mean, the Archons objectively are the planets, and it has to do with like astrology and everything. So you're ruled over by the zodiac and the planets, right? So they can, the planets control your destiny, because it's obviously it's Mercury, Venus, Gaia, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Saturn was the outermost planet in the ancient world, and that's why there was this sort of adoration of it, because that's your other gateway. That's your gateway to get, out of time, because the zodiac and the planets represent the limitations of time, but also the gods controlling your lives. So some people might see them as the same thing, but again, it just gets so complicated because there's so many years and levels of accretion and accumulation with all the symbolism that it just gets very difficult to sort of parse. the exact meanings.
Are the Watchers
so to speak.
sexed? You mentioned they fell in love with human women. Are they sexed? Unlike, I mean, you mentioned angels were not gendered, but were the Watchers?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. So, but the thing is about that, and if I don't know if I included all the. So I've been reading a lot of Alice Bailey because I've always wondered, like, this Lucis Trust thing, like, why do they have so much money and power when it's just the craziest shit you'll ever read in your life? And I actually went to a Lucis Trust, the great convocations, and it was literally the most boring thing I've ever experienced in my life. I thought I was going to jump out the window. It was so boring. So I've never understood the whole purpose of this, but now I see them as a placeholder for this this coming Watcher religion. But the point is that in her estimation, the Watchers, they're those beings of light. They're not incarnate, and they take incarnation by possessing human beings, that they take over the bodies of humans, and that's how they mate and so on.
Got it.
That they don't physically incarnate because again, as you said, the angels aren't gendered, but they take possession of human avatars in order to get it on with the ladies.
Got it.
So anyway, so this Astroworld thing is just so incredibly sinister. And I was watching some of the videos, and Travis Scott looked like he was drugged very heavily, and he looked like he was just completely out of it and lip syncing. I don't think he's really singing at those shows. I think he's lip syncing. But you see these people sort of being carried around, and he clearly doesn't know what's going on. He's up in this sort of pedestal. But again, they like to use these people for symbolic reasons, symbolic entrainment. Go down one. So here he is. This is Travis Scott. This is a Minecraft music video, and here he is as a Nephilim here. And this shape on the left, this is like an orb. This is a Watcher orb, so it's this very surreal kind of non-Euclidean being.
This was a concert, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a Fortnite. Everyone logged in, and then people were watching him perform.
It was Fortnite.
We were in
It was
Houston
Minecraft.
when it happened.
Oh yeah, you were at Skankfest.
Was it at Skankfest?
Yeah, 100%. It was at Skankfest. It was that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you look, there's the eye there, so we see the eye in the center. So this is the Watchers, and he's depicting himself, or he's being depicted by his controllers as a Nephilim and so on. So very interesting here. And it's interesting too because this is all done in what's called bisexual colors. I don't know if you're familiar, or bisexual lighting. This blue and this purple and this pink here.
What is that? What's the implication?
I don't know what the meaning of I don't know what the implication of it is, but it's the entire presentation is done in those colors. So there you go.
And they have the rooftop people here too, so it's kind of like another similarity.
Yeah. So, I don't think, but he's another one who's under the thumb of the Kardashian coven. So that's probably how they got to him to use him to put all this stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're banging with those chicks, you're down, right? You're down to do whatever it takes.
I think you're done is what it's more like.
I mean, look at Blake Griffin. He's never been. Dude, when he started dating that Kardashian, that's when it ended.
It was over. Yeah.
They shipped him out, and he's never been the same. Now they basically believe that Lana, that adult film star, her baby is Blake Griffin's kid.
Dude, there's
look what they did to Lamar Odom too.
Odom, yeah.
There's no one thriving. No one that's fucked the
Kardashians their hooks
thriving.
in Pete Davidson, so he's done.
Yeah, he's done. He's, we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah. Kanye doesn't get him first. Yeah.
Tap it up against some boule. Some boule action here.
So go down one frame. We can kind of go quickly through some of this stuff coming up here. But this is the five eyes again. And you hear this now all the time now. It's like this is, when they talk about the five eyes, it's like they're talking about like the United States or something. It's like somehow this five eyes connection here is like semi-official, it's like that's what they're really known as. And of course, this is the Watchers. Go down one frame, And this is, British intelligence, military intelligence, MI6 building.
Oh
which
my
is done
God,
like
it is
a
an
ziggurat.
They call it
Like a ziggurat
Legoland.
here. Yeah, or Babylon on Thames, the ziggurat. I mean, this is done up like the
It
Tower
looks
of Babel.
just like that
essentially.
eye on the Travis Scott bisexual color blimp thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, that's the flying saucer. And note that we have this is GCHQ, military intelligence, and this is a very similar shape to Apple. Apple Computer has their building in the same shape.
Johnny's getting
So make of that what you will. Go down one frame. So this is from that creepy Masonic
video that got out.
Yeah, they actually put it out and then they sort of buried it because I think they were getting trolled too much on YouTube. But so we see the eye of the Watchers with the compass there, and this is the Duke of Kent, who some believe is an illegitimate Rothschild. But he's basically the lord of the Freemasons here. The real Masons, like I said, not the Little League LARP Masons here. This was the creepiest damn thing you've ever watched in your
Would you
life.
like to
This
have a
thing was
conversation
so dark.
with that guy? Jeez Louise. Like, what is he talking about?
He kind of looks like Mr. Burns or something. Go down one frame. So this is another organization. This is the Order of the Seraphim. This is actually, I believe it's Swedish, but all the royalty of Europe belong to this, including King Charles. And we see here, this similar to that image we saw with the Grand Lodge here. So this is the Seraphim. The burning serpents. That's a whole other discussion, but it's the same symbolism. Basically, the Watchers. Go down one, and that's the Angel of the North that I referred to before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've seen that thing. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So that's also Andrew Gormley, who did the Watchers Event Horizon.
Look, I saw it one day.
2000.
We were driving down from Scotland and it was just in the mist. Oh, it was so creepy, just dude, with the mist kind of blowing through it, and you just come up on
I bet
it.
You were in
Yeah.
Scotland?
Yeah. Years ago.
Okay, go down one frame.
How far is
So
that
this is-
statue from Stonehenge? Just curious.
Oh, it's
It's
a
in the
few
middle.
hundred miles
That's in the
at
middle of
least.
England.
Yeah. Okay.
Stonehenge is in the south.
north.
It's
Oh, it's in the
south of
south? Okay.
London.
What is this, river dancing?
No, this is the Millennium Dome show. So this is the really this is kind of like the start. This is where the
They look so
British
stupid.
establishment announced that they were going to destroy the EU, which they are definitely in the process of doing right now, and basically, take over rulership of Europe. And we see the orange here. This is
Hold on. So you're saying that the royal family of England said they're going to destroy the E EU?
Yeah. Symbolically, absolutely, because they 999 times throughout the year 2000 they destroy this tower that's basically modeled after the EU Parliament building in Brussels. So. Yeah. So, no, I'm sorry, in Strasbourg. Yeah. So, and look what's happening now. Look what's happening in Europe. A lot of people don't realize that, like, the British are really the drivers behind the whole Ukrainian situation.
Of course they are.
Hell
They're
yeah.
behind Israel. They're behind it all, bro.
The Dutch oil companies.
So I basically they're going to break the back. They're going to break the back of the EU and take power. So go down one frame.
That's
So this
creepy.
is
what the
this
fuck?
is this yeah. It doesn't get like how much more explicit do you need it to get? This is the inside of the Millennium Dome from the year 2000. So we have this this child Nephilim here, this giant, and then we have the womb room in the Millennium Dome with these two big giants here. How much more explicit does it need to get? And if you
Human
watch
sperm.
the actual Millennium Dome show, like I said, the whole thing is about, the demons of the air and the daughters of men coming together sexually to create a new hybrid race and so on, and tear down the EU Parliament and basically deindustrialize the world and create this agrarian utopia that the Watchers rule over. And if you don't believe me, just watch it. It's just amazing. Go down one frame. Oh, so here's more of this newborn giant Nephilim. This is from the 2012 Olympics.
What?
That's just creepy as hell.
Have you ever watched that halftime show, bro?
I try and avoid it, to be honest. I don't watch the Super Bowl.
No, the halftime show. This is from the Olympics, bro.
Oh.
And
This is the Olympic opener?
Yeah,
it's opening
ceremony.
And it basically predicts everything that happened through COVID.
Yeah, the World Cup's about to have theirs.
We've got that.
What year was this again?
12.
Wow.
So that's the Nephilim. That's the new race of Nephilim. Go down one. And then we see this giant angel of death with the huge syringe. Oh.
See down there, the nurses are dancing like the TikTok video.
Yeah, this is also from the Olympics, the London Olympics.
So ridiculous.
I don't even know what to say. So we have the newborn Nephilim, and then here's the angel of death with the giant syringe.
This has to do something with sports, like.
Yeah,
they're supposed to make athletes.
I would assume they're saying it's about the NHS, right? The National Health Service. But I mean,
it's so funny because as we're watching this, people have to be like, "What is this about? Why are they doing the angel of death, nurses dancing with syringes?" And everyone's like,
it's crazy.
All these talking heads are like, "What a wonderful display of choreography!"
Dude, you know it.
My God, the choreographer is Luc von Bonjingvang. He also did the 1987 World Cup games. He's really known for his imagery of death and destruction and love. That's what this is all about, love. It's like, get out of here.
So we're going right to the Nephilim on this one, Bob.
Look at that. More.
So they just keep pushing this stuff. This is this little Amal. They keep dragging this thing around. There's the woke cover. So this is like for Syrian children, Syrian refugee children or something.
You see a lot of these exhibits that are these giants, yeah.
And this hideous contraption on the right here is called Storm. So this is they're really pushing this stuff with the giants over and over again. So go down one. So this is from Alice Bailey. This is from one of her books. And this is basically the foundational myth of the Watcher cult. And this is why I think this is so dangerous, because I think a lot of people are going to be seduced by this cultic belief. So Bailey said, had not the sons of God come unto the daughters of men, which is biblical and symbolic way of expressing the great relationship between spirit and matter, which was established in the human kingdom, whatever, that's just all window dressing, had the spiritual entities, which are humanity itself, not taken unto themselves material forms, this is what I'm talking about, the spiritual possession, and had the positive spiritual element not attached itself to the negative material aspect, again, spiritual possession, the present world conflict would not be taking place. So he's talking about how, the Watchers came and they brought war and everything, as we see in the Book of Enoch, and this is alluding to World War II. But then she's like, but you haven't heard the whole story, but the divine plan of evolution was based on the production of this relationship between spiritually conscious man and the form aspect, and thus the great law of duality came into action, bringing about the fall of the angels as they descended from this sinless and free state of existence in order to develop full divine awareness upon earth through the medium of material incarnation and the use of the principle of mind. So what she's saying here is, yes, these angels take possession of human beings, but they do so to bring, this full divine awareness that, human beings were, unformed, we were ignorant, we didn't have the knowledge of good and evil. So these angels come to earth, take possession of human beings for these reasons to elevate us. And this is God's plan, as we'll see in the next frame. Go down one frame. What? Next frame.
Here we go.
Okay, so this is Bailey again. This was the divine plan emanating from the mind of God and swept into activity and progressive unfoldment by an act of his will. At its exception, they took place, the original war in the heavens, which is Revelation 12, right? When the sons of God who responded to the divine urge to experience, to serve, and to sacrifice separated themselves from the sons of God who responded to no such inspiration, this is Michael and his angels, but who chose to stay in their original high state of being. So what she's saying here is that the fallen angels, the watchers are, and she uses the term watcher over and over again in her literature. She's saying that they fell to earth because God ordered them to, that God ordered them to bring down the divine knowledge, the divine experience unto the sons of men so that they would become, spiritually evolved. So this I think is, once we get past all this nonsense with the Satanism and the woke and all this craziness that we're seeing, the trans stuff, and everything starts to, recongeal to some sort of sane reality. This is what I believe they're going to replace. And I think the churches, the Vatican, the large denominations are all going to be on board with this. That this is the new, this is the new revelation. This is the new covenant. This is the new covenant.
Agree.
Go down one frame. So the Silent Watchers are the Lords of Sacrifice. The group of the Silent Watchers of all degrees are closely connected with the second cosmic path. All of them are Lords of Sacrifice. So she's saying they sacrifice themselves to come down to Earth to bring us this greater, technological knowledge. Technology is a huge part of this. And just spiritual awareness, and animated solely by love. So they sacrifice themselves solely out of love, and therefore have passed through the sacrificial burning grounds, which is the burning pit in which they're imprisoned. These great redeeming angels, who are the sons of men on their own true plane, the mental, are ever therefore pictured as taking the form of 12 petal loaves. This is when she starts all this crazy symbolism. The symbology linking them up with the Son of Divine Love, the manifested solar system, which is said to be a cosmic 12-petal lotus, all this New Age nonsense. But, basically the form of this is she's saying that the Watchers are the good guys. They were ordered by God to sacrifice themselves. They got into this battle, which is just basically sort of this like intramural pissing match between the Watchers, Semyaza and Azazel and their host, and then, Michael and Uriel and Gabriel and the rest of them, who didn't want to leave. So they sacrificed themselves in order to bring us this knowledge. Okay, so that's basically what she says over and over again in these books. And when I wonder, we can skip down go down 2 frames.
Right there.
So yeah, so this is just absolutely mind-boggling because, like I said, I don't know anybody who's involved with the Lucis Trust. I don't know anybody who reads these books, but the headquarters, United Nations Plaza, is their New York headquarters, or at least their headquarter office, United Nations. In London, it's in Westminster, Whitehall Court, and we'll show you exactly where that is in a moment. And then in Europe, it's in Geneva. So it's like New York, London, and Geneva. These are the 3 largest financial capitals in the world, right? And somehow the Lucis Trust, this little weird, boring, crazy little cult, is headquartered in prime spots of real estate in these cities. Why? Like, what? I don't get it. Well, I do get it now, but I didn't get it before. Go down 1 frame. So this is Whitehall Court. They are right across the street from the British Ministry of Defense.
Damn!
What a little coincidence that is, huh? Boy, yeah. Do you think that's telling us who's behind this group? It's just so clear because Alice Bailey shows up in America. She's given all this money. She's given an office on Wall Street, which is the building on the right. That's actually owned by the Silverstein Group now. Another ziggurat, another Tower of Babel, another Babylonian edifice there. That's 120 Wall Street. That's where their, I guess their operational offices are. So not only are they at the UN, right? Rockefeller owned property there, but they're also at this other property, this ziggurat on 120 Wall Street. And then, of course, their London office is across the street from the Ministry of Defense. Yeah. So I think that, you and your listeners are going to certainly understand what we're looking at here. So this is why I say that they're a placeholder. I don't believe that the Lucis Trust as we understand it today is the final form. I think this is being set up that this is infrastructure is being put into place because the Lucis Trust has offices all over the world now to become the host of the Watcher cult, which Alice Bailey wrote about in minute detail over and over again, even though she used all these different terminology. So sometimes they're the Watchers, sometimes they're the Knowers, sometimes they're the Sons of God, sometimes they're the Coming Ones, all this terminology. So,
dude, that's crazy.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, dude, you blew my mind.
Wow.
Well, you're gonna love this one. Guess who one of the main bankrollers of the Lucis Trust is?
No.
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
And I love how everybody's just like, Melinda's good. She couldn't put up with his shit anymore, and she had to walk off. She's in that one video. We gotta get black people this vaccine. Let's get the black people the vaccine. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Anybody want to take a big guess on who represents the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation?
Who?
CAA.
Bang.
No, I believe it. But, so they have all these financial groups, fairly substantial Cooperative Fund of New England, Global Exchange. And this is only half the list, by the way, Investor Responsible Research Center. But also on the right, if you go to Microsoft Bing, bing.com, and do a search on Lucis Trust, every time you do a search on Lucis Trust, they donate money to them. Support this cause just by searching on Microsoft Bing.
They all
with
sound
Microsoft
like such
Rewards.
positive causes, right?
Every time you look up Lucis Trust, Microsoft donates money to them.
If you do it on Bing, yeah.
That is crazy. And I'll fuck Bing too, man. Bing acting like it's cool.
The other thing too is that they are actually Lucis Trust is an officially registered NGO with the United Nations. Wow. And also they built the meditation room that I'm still trying to, the artwork in there is very abstract. I'm still trying to figure out what it's trying to say, but one of the former Assistant Secretary Generals was a devotee of the organization. So go down one. So this is the savior. This is Semyaza, the great solar angel who embodies the real man, and its expression on the plane of higher mind is literally his divine ancestor. So this is talking about, you see this in the context where Semyaza and the other angels took possession of men to impregnate women. The Watcher who, through long cycles of incarnation, has poured capital himself in sacrifice in order that man might be. So, and electricity has a lot to do with this as well.
All I know from all this is that Earth chicks put out.
Earth chicks are easy. Earth girls are easy, right?
Everyone's a bang Earth ass.
Chris, is the Statue of Liberty a Watcher?
Well, it's basically the statue. The Statue of Liberty is Mithras and drag. So you could argue that the Statue of Liberty is, this silent watcher, that the incarnation of Semyaza.
Just look in the face.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty is a dude.
Yeah. It's a dude, bro.
Yeah, but I'm saying it has a similar feel to this.
They're all dudes. All statues are dudes.
But if you look at the tiara and the torch and so on are from the Mithraic initiation. It's a degree called Nymphis, which is the bride of Venus. So basically, I think you entered in as a raven, and then you became the bride of Venus. So basically, your pledges had to dress up as women and go to these little drug parties. I don't think you need too much imagination to see how that turned out. But interestingly enough, there's a secret society on Wall Street that Michael Bloomberg, who I call Mithraic Mike, belongs to, that does the same thing with their pledges. Damn. So nothing has changed. We just don't, our attention is not directed to these things that are just as old as the hills. So go down one. Yes, the Silent Watcher. So we've been talking about Vril, the Coming Race. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that book, but that's basically sort of the prototype for the superheroes, particularly like the mutants, like all these shows like The Gifted and the 4400 and Heroes and Twilight. I mean, all these sort of like, they're superhuman, but they're not superheroes. It's all kind of directed from Vril, the coming race. That has to do with the Hollow Earth and stuff, but that's too much to go into here.
Snaps! That's another show for sure.
Yes. So this is the Silent Watcher, the greatest of the coming ones. The planetary logos of our Earth scheme took physical incarnation, and under the form Sanat Kumara, the Ancient of Days and the Lord of the World, came down to this dense physical planet and has remained with us ever since. Owing to the extreme purity of his nature, he was unable to take a dense physical body such as ours and has to function as an etheric body. So this is the Watcher who did not take possession of a human being, as she says here. But he is the greatest of all the avatars, the coming ones, for he is a direct reflection of that great entity who lives and breathes and functions throughout all the evolutions on this planet, holding within his aura a magnetic sphere of influence. He is the Silent Watcher. So again, she uses the term watchers all the time. So this would be Samyaza. As far as our immediate humanity is concerned, although literally the planetary logos himself on the higher plane of consciousness whereon he functions. So this is their Christ. This is their coming Christ. This is what they call it. They call this figure the cosmic Christ. This is the one who will finally take incarnation when the Watchers are restored, and will take control of the world, the one world government, which the Lucis Trust is very involved in putting into place. It's part of the one world government is literally part of their religion.
So is the cosmic Christ Sanat Kumara, are they one and the same?
Yeah, well, yeah, like I said, there's a bunch of different names. There's the Silent Watcher, the coming one, Sanat Kumara, Lord Maitreya, who we'll get into in the next frame, Silent Watcher again, planetary logos. This is kind of like a tactic, I think, with Bailey, and I've noticed it with some other New Age writers as well, is that they tell you exactly what they mean, but then they throw all these layers of just argle-bargle over them, just mumbo-jumbo, just like, well, this is the guy, this is the coming one who's going to basically kill off most of humanity and instill a one world government. But, he's the 12 Lotus crystal vampire expression of the I don't know, the stars and the moon and the sun. I mean, they'll tell you exactly what they mean, and then they throw in all this just nonsense on top of it.
No, I got you. People. Hey, so is this Silent Watcher Christ?
No, it's the Lord of the Watchers.
Okay.
They call him the Cosmic Christ. They call him the Cosmic Christ.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
So go down one frame here. So this is in Dallas, not too far from Dealey Plaza. This used to be in New York and Lower Manhattan. Then it was right down the street from me. Actually, my wife worked in the building where this little character. This thing's actually huge, but this is called the Genius of Electricity. So electricity has a lot to do with it, obviously because electricity was kind of novel when Bailey was writing these books and so on. But this figure here is based on Mithras Phanes, which is Mithras Lucifer. So it's the light bearer. And we see him rising from the cosmic egg, bring electricity, bring lightning. So this is the genius of electricity. So genius is spirit or daemon, or, angel, whatever, however you choose. But this is the spirit. This is the Watcher. This is Lord Maitreya in Bailey's estimation. But again, this is based on the Mithraic cults. This is Mithras Phanes. And there's actually trans Mithras Phanes, another one of these versions just like this, but it's as a woman. And that's at the gate. Yeah, it's at the gate of the St. Louis University, which is a Jesuit university. And a figure just like looking exactly like this, but trans, is at the gate of that university. So, but here's what I was saying about 2025. So a major proponent of Maitreya, Lord Maitreya, who left Alice Bailey, who left the Theosophical Society in the 20s to establish the Quasi-Theosophical Arcane School. She expanded upon Ledbetter's work. Ledbetter was one of the leaders of Theosophy and his Christology, and referred to Maitreya as the cosmic Christ, saying that his second coming would occur sometime after the year 2025.
gonna
Right?
get super
So
interesting, bro.
that's the timeline. That's the timeline.
More interesting. Who knows who's gonna show up, bro?
Man.
Yeah. So go down one more frame, and this is where we'll leave it for now. So this is this is Mithras. They call it Prometheus, but it's Mithras.
Why is it always this shiny, super shiny, shined up? These are all such a similar, tone and theme with the brightness of it. What is that part all about?
People
couldn't
like
tell you.
shiny, bro.
But if you you got to go to Rockefeller Plaza sometime, because it's just basically an open-air Mithraic temple. But anyway, Maitreya is sometimes considered to have been influenced by the Zoroastrian Mithra, also became Mithras, the Roman Mithras. So anyway, some Zoroastrian ideas seem to influence the cult of Maitreya, such as expectations of a heavenly helper, the need to opt for positive righteousness, the future millennium, and universal salvation. Blah, 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 blah. But this image, Rockefeller Center, this is the Tower of Babel, which is, rising to the stars. That this body is actually in the shape of, roughly the shape of Perseus. Perseus is Mithras, Perseus the Persian, Mithras is a Zoroastrian or Persian god. But basically the symbolism here is that he's bringing light, he's bringing fire, so he's the Lucifer, the light bringer, rising from the mountain, rising from the rock here, and escaping time. So he's rising above the zodiac, which is, he's escaping time and rising back to heaven. So this is the Lord of the Watchers, essentially, rising back, and this represents that part of the Milky Way leading up to
That's the portal.
Cepheus. So it's the symbolism. There are so many different variations on it, but when you really start to break it down, it is all about restoring the Watchers to heaven,
bro.
and that's exactly what you see here. Yeah.
Well, this is you open my eyes now. Every time I see an eyeball, I'm gonna think Watchers. Keep an eye on the Watchers. That's what this is all about. Christopher, where can our listeners follow you?
secretsun.blogspot.com. And that will send you the links. I'm also on Twitter at Secret Sun Speaks.
Have you tried to get on Rockfin? Have you tried to get on Rockfin?
I haven't had time, to be honest with you. I'm still, I'm doing so much work right now. I am interested, though.
All right.
We'll handle it.
Hit me up. I'll help you out.
We'll handle it.
Thank you very much, Chris, for coming on. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank
that
you
was
very
so
much.
great.
Take
Very
care,
nice meeting you.
Thanks for coming on.
Wow.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome show. Awesome show. That was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, Chris. Yeah, okay. So, real quick, Anthony, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. It was a good, crazy show. We went deep. 2-hour banger, bro. The Watchers, bro. It's dude. This is connects with our last episode of Nephilim, back to back. Sometimes that happens where it's like a nice 2-part series.
Like it's meant to be. Yeah.
It's meant to be. It was great, dude.
The seams of my skull are separated. They gotta come back together. That was really good. I really appreciate you having me down.
So, Anthony, real quick, tell us where they can find you.
Zero Dark Tony, baby.
On everything.
Rockfin, everything. If you want to hit me up on Twitter at ZeroDarkTony_OG. Thank you so much for having me, Sam. I appreciate it.
No
that
problem.
was a big eye opener.
Guys, again, go to samtripoli.com. Jump on the email list. Please check it out. samtripoli.com for all of my needs. My website, my dates, I'm going to be, we got Comedy Chaos on October 19th. I'm in Vegas again for Skankfest, October 19th. We got a Comedy Chaos again. And then just check out for more dates. So much great shit going on. Again, guys, premium fucking content for you. Tinfoil Hat, Zero, Conspiracy Social Code, Brian Callen. We Don't Spoke the Same. Patreon, Broken Sim First Look. You can even get Zero Dark Tony on there. $10. Make you holla.
Make you holla.
Okay, the best value on the internet. If you're looking to invest money in these crazy times, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/cash daddies. That will help you. New t-shirt alert is about to drop. The lizard people are coming. That's the new one. That shirt's about to drop. It will be available tonight. All My Heroes of Shadow Band, spooky action, great way to support the show.
Not limited? You haven't made it limited in a while.
No, I'm not going to do limited yet. But all those are available at tinfoilhat-t-shirts.com or samtripoli.com. Nuke.social, great way to get on Telegram and Discord and never have to worry about losing your profile. And then the Telegrams for Tinfoil Hat and Zero are available as well on samtripoli.com, and all of my free audio content. Tinfoil Hat, Broken Sims, Cash Daddies, Punch Drunk, Union of the Unwanted, which is one of the most important conversations on the internet, and then some of my old episodes from Conspiracy Social Club and Zero are available. Anything else? Got a show?
Oh, yeah, I got a show October 12th, El Monte. I actually just added Rick Thorne, BMX Hall of Famer. He's going to be there. Me, Rick Thorne, Lee Syatt.
Rick Thorne's a good dude.
Yes, and Craig Hines.
Where can they get tickets?
Eventbrite or fullytoxic.com.
Fullytoxic.com.
Yes.
Anything, Johnny?
No, we're about to drop the latest Broken Sense.
Is it a
Check
good
that
one?
out. Yeah, it's a good one. It's always a good one. Wait, no, this one sucked, bro.
Okay,
We were so bad.
Oh yeah, you can catch my second channel on Rockfin, which is Leader of the Band, BANNED.
Okay, I
Check
love
that out,
it.
too.
Thank you guys for listening. We love you very much. We'll take care and we'll talk to you soon.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hat.